Saipan residents can now apply for assistance from FEMA. Let's head over to Tim McHenry for more. Tim?
Thanks, guys. Continuing our coverage of the relief efforts in Saipan. Yesterday, we spoke to Brad Ruszala, and today we talked to Congressman Greg Sablan and FEMA Rep Larissa Paschyn about the recovery process. Here's the story. Saipan resident Brad Ruszala, who we talked to yesterday and who was involved in the recovery efforts, shares with PNC one particular experience as he was driving along the road after the typhoon to help set the scene of what families are going through and why they need FEMA assistance.
And along the way, I just saw one light, and it was on the outside. There was about 8 people sitting underneath a tarp that was tied up partially to what was left of their house that was just in shambles. Oh, wow. And a little stump of a tree, and so I went over there and just hung out with them. I got to meet them and chat them up, and there were a couple of little kids, and they were in that house the whole storm. They moved from room to room to the place that almost seemed kind of stable, and then they had to flee through the window to get into the car because their house almost totally blew away.
Now, families like the one Ruszala met can apply for FEMA assistance. We spoke with CNMI Congressman Gregorio Kilili Sablan, and he talked to us about the relief efforts in Saipan.
I just got through a meeting right before I dialed you, sir, talking with FEMA's main person here, Mr. Steve DeBlasio, and the Congressional Affairs officer who's here assigned to the disaster. Our hospital is online now. They start making their home visits to assess damages. FEMA has just issued 2,600 assignments to their contractors to go start making assessments for those who have already, to the over 3,000 that have coded in or applied online.
We also spoke to Federal Emergency Management Agency Representative Larissa Paschyn, who says that FEMA has had over 4,000 households in Saipan register for FEMA assistance so far. But how long will it take for a household to get FEMA assistance? Well, Paschyn says every household is different, but she did give us a basic average based on what is, quote, normal. She says after an applicant turns in their application, it usually takes 7 to 10 days for FEMA to verify the application and then contact the applicant. FEMA will then try to meet with the applicant within the next 24 to 48 hours. From there, she says it could take 1 to 2 weeks for an individual household to receive the assistance. Again, Paschyn says that every case is different and times could vary. Congressman Sablan explains the next step in the recovery process, this time restoring power to a large chunk of the island.
The Waterloo station, it's on the road that heads up to the airport. Sure. From that substation to the main power engines is about, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 miles maybe. Mm-hmm. But the power that brings the electricity to that substation is all underground. Oh, okay. And they've tested that, and it's okay. So from that Waterloo station, they're going to start working on fixing poles for probably the south side of the island, which has the largest population.
PNC News, I'm Tim McHenry.
All right, thanks, Tim.